Global Leadership Group presents
Leadership Summit 2026.
Theme: Ethical Leadership for Sustainable Economic Growth.
Leadership Masterclass coming up.
See, if you really want to develop yourself as a leader, particularly as a woman, you need to invest in your development.
Quickly, organizations benefits from strong mentorship and sponsorship culture if you are able to increase the engagements, and then you grow individuals within the line.
Hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and welcome to today's talk show from Global Leadership Group. Today we are talking on succeeding in a multicultural world. In a time like this, where businesses and communities are increasingly interconnected, understanding leadership across cultures is no longer optional. It is very, very essential. So for Global Leadership Group, we always look for creme de la creme resource persons or guest speakers who have rich experience in whatever topic we are coming to discuss. So this evening, we are very much privileged to have two of them, and I'm introducing them in no particular order. The first is Pastor Christian Sinclair. He's actually not new to our program, but then I'll still read his profile to you. Pastor Sinclair is a banking professional with over a decade industry experience. His professional experience spans across central operations, branch operations, consumer banking, consumer experience, hospitality management, and people management. His passion for excellent service delivery inspired him to be part of the pioneering team for Consolidated Bank Ghana's customer experience department. He currently serves as the unit head of the service operations unit, whose major mandate is to ensure excellence service delivery across the bank. Christian is also the lead consultant for Mekis Consults and Customer Service Ghana. Christian is an ordained Baptist minister, currently serving as the pastor in charge of Christian education, music, and media at Lifeway Community Baptist Church, East Legon. He holds a Bachelor of Science degree in Human Resource Management, Commonwealth Executive MBA, Master of Arts in Ministry, and is an IFC World Bank certified trainer. He's married to Mrs. Na Mercy Sinclair, and they are blessed with 3 children: Aaron Nicholas, Judah Enoch, and Samantha Christine. Hello, Pastor. You are welcome as always.
Thank you.
Okay. Sure. And we also are very fortunate to have Mr. Augustine Michael Izugwe. He is CISSP cybersecurity leader with over a decade of global experience securing financial, healthcare, and government systems. He holds advanced degrees in cybersecurity engineering and distributed systems and networks at the University of Maryland, College Park, USA, and University of Hertfordshire, UK, respectively. Augustine has led major initiatives in cybersecurity, regulatory compliance, vulnerability management, penetration testing, and cloud security across organizations such as Bank of America, Etisalat, yeah, and National Ambulance UAE, earning multiple awards for excellence in service. A recognized graduate student senator at UMD, he combines technical expertise with strategic leadership to strengthen enterprise security and resilience. Mr. Augustine, you are so welcome.
Thank you very much for having me.
Great. I'm very excited this evening to have you to share your rich experience with us. Whilst we break down this topic very well for our viewers and ourselves also to learn. So, without wasting much time, I'll start from Pastor Sinclair. Please, what does global leadership mean to you in today's interconnected world? Sorry.
Yeah, so thank you so much once again. When we talk about global leadership, um, maybe I would have said just leading across the globe, but that would be maybe too non-technical. So,
Okay.
of course, leadership has got to do with inspiring, influencing, and guiding people. So that would be leadership, if you ask me to define. Now, when we talk about global, then we're looking at across borders. So we're looking at beyond or the definition of the globe, looking at beyond your particular location, looking at countries, maybe continents. So across border or culture, leadership can be defined as a global leadership where you have to do with diverse systems, addressing various challenges and opportunities in these different spheres of the world. So maybe summary that would be my definition.
Okay. That's great. That's great. That's great. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Hmm.
So I'll go to Mr. Augustine. Please, have you ever had to lead a team across multiple cultures? What challenges did you face and how did you overcome them?
So, okay, basically, I've had opportunity of working across like 3 continents.
Oh,
So,
wow.
like I am a Nigerian. So, although my working experience is very limited from Nigeria, because my first professional job was I started off in Dubai. So I started working in Dubai.
Dubai.
So, but from Nigeria, I was very active in the church. I was a youth leader. I was mostly, involved in helping young people make career choices and stuff like that. And then when I left college, I started teaching. So I was a teacher. So eventually, when the doors opened for me to go to India, I, did some professional studies in India, and then I moved to Dubai. That was when I started working. So one thing that people in Dubai pride themselves is diversity. So when you talk about global leadership or managing a global team, a place like Dubai is so Dubai pride itself is in having every single nationality. So we are talking about 192, approximately 192 nationalities. So in the last organization that I worked, we had 43 nationalities in that organization. So this forces you to all the time. Anytime you're going to have to do any kind of project, whether it is an internal compliance kind of planning or internal audit, external audit, anything that you're going to do, it's you are forced to work with people across board. So meaning that you're going to have people from North America in your team, you're going to have people from the Indians, which are everywhere, the Asian people in your team, you're going to have Africans like myself. I'm an African, you're going to have in the team. So now this makes you it's like a tapestry. It's like a tapestry, right? So tapestry has a blend of colors, different kind of materials. That's what bring the beauty, because people come with different kind of ideologies, different approach. And there is something unique in the Middle East. When you're writing in Africa, when we write from right to left to right. But in the Middle East, in Arabic language, you write from right to left.
Yeah.
So now in the thinking, it's like when you start um, associating with people from across culture, you start noticing that it's like some people think in a reverse form, just the way they write from right to left. So, but again, some people will approach problems mathematically. Some people are going to use like a risk-based approach. Some other people are going to use like relational, like I need to know you if I'm going to work with you in the team. So that is the beauty. So now the solution that they come up with, the way the problem is solved is magical. So the power of diversity is very magical, but it also comes with some challenges as well. So the challenges that type of team is going to comes with is the type of challenge where you also need to understand the diversity of your team, because because of the approach, maybe some people might take two days to complete a task. Some other people will take 1 week to complete the same task, and some other people will maybe probably want more meetings. So, in that type of environment, adaptability becomes the key. So you have to adapt and be like a bridge that bridge all these multiple cultures. So that is my own experience.
Wow, very interesting. Wow, 43. Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Great, great, great. It must be very interesting because at every time you see different, like you said, very different. Some are looking at it from one angle, the other one also from, especially the way they even write, like you're saying. That's very interesting. Okay, sure. Okay, so Pastor Sinclair, is how important is cultural intelligence compared to emotional intelligence for global leaders?
So interestingly, for a very long time, we've all been used to emotional intelligence, and that's been the highlight, when it comes to corporate world.
Yeah.
But now, when we talk about, global leadership, looking at a multicultural setting, a few things that will have to be highlighted, like you said, is cultural intelligence, where now we are looking at your ability as a leader to function across national, ethnic, and organizational cultures. So now you are not just dealing with one person from one particular culture, but you are dealing with different persons, with different backgrounds and all of that. It becomes a very important skill. I mean, just listening to Austin, I'm wondering what kind of intervention. It will take a lot of work. And I
Yeah.
had the opportunity to be in a place like Disney World where I worked, and it's crazy out there because you need to be careful that you don't trespass, because a hello in your language, a smile in your language is interpreted differently. That was one of the most craziest experience. I'm talking about this kind of so you need to be sensitive. So I think that is where the intelligence comes to bear. The way you communicate, your values, your approach to life, your perspective, your worldview. Will have you have to move it beyond what you know and what is accepted within your domain to
Mm,
now trying to relate to looking at, emotional intelligence will say from your customers or your fellows perspective, but this time around you are looking at from the person's cultural perspective, so
mhm.
then it becomes stronger, intense, and has to be deliberate. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank
Yeah.
you. So, my next question still goes to you. So,
Mhm.
what practical steps can leaders take to improve cross-cultural communication?
Okay, so I think the first thing is that you will have to know, try to come, have a, I will call it, have in banking we say know your customer. I would say now know your employees.
Mhm.
Now it's not going to go beyond just the regular of their skill, their professional background. Now you have to zoom in on their cultural background. Okay, what does this mean to them? And that would highly impact on the way you communicate, the way you engage.
Mhm.
You have to now move from individualism to now collectivism, where it's no more about an individual. And another big one there in step one, which is building cultural awareness, is also trying to identify the various communication languages and what it means to each person. I'm sure Austin will have a lot of experience there because I remember I worked with some Chinese, and their perspective to life is completely different, completely different, and that which is funny to you is offensive to them. So you need
Yeah.
to be able to build that cultural awareness that at all times I'm not in Ghana, I'm not in Nigeria, I'm with different kinds of people so that it doesn't get to you. I also think very important in communication is active listening, and you need to practice it because technically there's going to be situations of language barrier. I mean, like I said, in Disney World, I
Yeah.
work with some Japanese, they barely hear the English.
Yeah.
And yet they don't want you to look down on them like they don't understand the language. They want you to, it's intriguing. You don't understand. Okay.
So,
So again, your demonstration or building of cultural intelligence is very important. We spoke about it a while ago, but now it becomes key to communicating because you want to be able to see it from the person's perspective, relate from the person's perspective. Also, trying to build on inclusive interaction. So at all times, you try to avoid a situation where it will be seen as you are building factions or because already as a leader there is them if for example if you are in a team that has some Ghanaians and other nationalities, they easily will think that people will prejudice that you would have you would tilt towards Ghanaians. I mean there's a soft spot towards Ghanaians, so you must intentionally build that, so maybe by round table discussions, respecting the views of all team members, trying to frown on using your local dialect. Let me be a bit practical. Sometimes you are a bit tempted, to say something in a language that might not be favorable to all others present. And then building trust and relationships is very important. Trying to make sure that you deepen your bond with your team members would help in, curbing or reducing the errors in or multi-communication, multicultural communication. So primarily, these are a few things I would want to say. And then maybe providing training as well. I think that's important because cross-cultural communication is a skill that has to be built. It's not automatic. So it's good to also have sessions like this with your team members to sensitize them on how to approach communication in the kind of environment they find themselves. Thank you.
thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you. So, active listening, inclusive interactions, building trust, and also enriching your relationship with them. All this will help you uh, to be able to work well during that environment, during your stay in that environment. Thank you so much. So, Mr. Michael, please, in your experience, what makes multicultural teams stronger and what makes them harder to manage?
Okay. This is a good question.
Yeah.
Like uh like Christian said, you know, a common gesture can be misinterpreted. It can be misinterpreted based on where one is coming from. So one of the difficulties of managing a multicultural environment is, like I'm going to use a lot of Middle East example. Let's say in the Middle East, the body language. So in the Middle East, when you're talking to somebody and you move backward and cross your hands like this, is considered a lot of respect. But if you do the same thing in North America, in the USA, that's considered like unwillingness to share, like you're keeping a distance, you're trying to maintain your space. It's not considered like, it's considered like don't come close to me, like it's more hostile. But that same gesture in the Middle East will be considered respect, because like you're trying to maintain a distance and cross your hand so that they see your hands and stuff like that. So they consider that as a sign of respect. And then in some other culture, if you come in a meeting and you keep quiet, it could be interpreted as something good. And then in some other culture, being quiet does not is not necessarily something good. It could be unwillingness also to share and things like that. So in a multicultural environment, the managing such environment, the good of it, or the positive of it is that, you know, the energy, this uh, diverse people, the approach, the way they solve problem, the way you guys work together to solve a problem. And then on the other hand, the challenge, like I have highlighted, the challenge of it is, where like all these little gestures can be misinterpreted. So in a way to overcome those type of challenges is like, creating a more enabling environment for everybody, where you can even, like, let's say you're coming into a meeting and someone is quiet, you can tell them, oh, I would like to hear your perspective on something. Can you share your perspective on this? So in by so doing, these people are going to open up and, you know um, share their own perspective on a point of discussion. And then, um, okay, that would be it for me.
Okay.
Sorry.
Okay. 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 Super. That's super. 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 Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So, Pastor Sinclair, how can leaders ensure that all voices are heard in diverse teams? How can leaders ensure that all voices are heard in diverse teams?
Wow, that's an interesting one. So I'll continue from where I ended. So one is that create psychological safety, because already, like our earlier presenter was mentioning, there's a lot going on in the minds of people. People think that, oh, because Madam Happy is from Ghana, she will automatically build a bond with, Ghanaian people. It's easy for that to happen in a multicultural setting, or they can even zoom in on your particular tribe. For those who might not be outside Ghana and are working in Ghana, we are not just talking about global as in a context of multi-country. But within our Ghanaian setting, it happens so much. Uh, so
Yeah.
one, build safety. Don't let anybody think that the Sinclair is a Ghana, so he's to the Ghans, or he's not. So intentionally, and admit mistakes, and also be fair about your, your judgments, your queries. Anytime you have to give an instruction, let there be fairness. Number two, use structured participation. Okay, so be intentional. If, for example, you're having a meeting, sometimes even online, virtually, intentionally call out, oh, happy, we've not heard your voice. What do you have to say? It continues to build that, confidence in the people that indeed, you know, Maria, oh, what did I say in summary? Force it. Try to encourage it. And then try to leverage multiple communication channels. So for example, like my Chinese people, you are working with them, possibly the person is now building his or her capacity using the English language. So you need to use various methods. Okay. So maybe the verbal won't work 100%. You need to apply some non-verbal. I remember with the Chinese guys, you will do some greeting here and there just to show that, you know. Number four, be mindful of your language. Okay, be mindful of your language. So use clear, for example, if you are working in an environment where it's not highly English, if I'll use that, don't go using heavy English language. It's not that you want to display your grammatical prowess, is in the, yeah, don't be lackadaisical. You are talking to somebody who the person is now trying, let me use Oga or Austin. The person is trying small now to come hear some of the language now. Then you are using something which the person cannot understand. So try to do that. Acknowledge and validate contributions, So applaud them. Oh, Charlie, oh, you said this. Oh, that's nice. Wow, where did you learn this English word? It works, because it's helping the person to know that, oh, we cherish your efforts to build, communication within the team and build cross-cultural awareness, So train the team on different cultures, their communication, intentional, let them build themselves. Then foster one-on-one connections. Okay, so once in a while, you check on somebody. Oh, I think it connects to the point one I made, but this time around, outside of meetings. So try to continue to build that bond. And once we do that, give people option to share their input in smaller groups before larger meetings. So once you know that there are language challenges here and there, we can use that to build a very beautiful family in terms as leaders in driving, ensuring that all are ahead in our multicultural environment. Thank you. Hello, Happy. It looks like your mic is muted. Yeah, I was enjoying your. Okay.
Sorry. Sorry. Yes. I was
Okay.
saying very great perspectives shown out there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you so much. And we are
Oh,
about to go on break, after which we'll continue. Thank you.
Global Leadership Group presents
Leadership Summit 2026.
Theme: Ethical Leadership for Sustainable Economic Growth.
Leadership Masterclass coming up.
Welcome back. I'll go on to Mr. Michael. Mr. Michael, please, how do cultural differences influence decision making and negotiation in international business? How do cultural differences influence decision making and negotiation in international business?
I have seen that it can make it a little bit hard, in the sense that if you're managing a project that like in an international or multicultural environment, you could come to a situation where you have to work with people across multiple continents, let's say Americans or Europeans, and then sometimes Asians, Indians, or Chinese, like Christian has mentioned. So you notice that mostly Americans are very direct. So because Americans are very direct, and the type of structure you have, the type of leadership you have in the United States is like where you have a CEO where one person is just going to be like, okay, I'm making the decision. So he just say, okay, this is what you guys need to do. He give out his instructions. So now, and then you can have from the Asian uh, kind of people where like it's more like a teamwork, like it's a kind of where they will prefer a kind of interpersonal kind of where they come to you and have a discussion one-on-one, and then they need to feel very comfortable with you, and then when they feel very comfortable with you, that is the point where they are going to like come to a decision. So and then maybe Europeans, like let's say Germans are known to be very detail oriented. So when you have this different approach, it can cause a kind of difficulty in coming to making a decision. But that also, to be able to overcome these difficulties, you can, like I said earlier, you need to build a bridge where because a global leader is supposed to be like a translator, a language translator, where you take the approach of the North American people, you take the approach of the Europeans, you take the approach of the Asians and the Africans, and then you create a kind of a common environment where it is easy for each component to have like one functional approach that enable you, get to the result that you want. The volume is gone.
I threw the same question at Pastor Sinclair also to see the perspective from where he will also come. Like, how do cultural differences influence decision making and negotiation in international business?
Yeah, so I mean, I think Mr. Justin did a great work
Sure.
Just a few additions. So again, negotiation styles. Okay, the negotiation style. So you see um, direct versus indirect communication. When you find people like the Germans, the Israelis, they make negotiation with frank, direct language. Don't want you to play around. Just go straight to the point. Ghanaians, we can tell a long story like a church testimony, and it's another person going to explain. Oh, so what happened? They want you to go directly. That's for whereas in the or interestingly, it's documented that when it comes to Africans, we like to be diplomatic, racing to avoid, open conflict, trying to, and maybe in Ghana we have a higher version, interestingly. The person want to say something like, what do you want to say? I want to go and leave. Just say that, my mother has done this and this. And then attitude toward conflict, in the US, healthy debate is normal. It's not a big deal. You can actually have a strong, healthy debate with your boss. I mean, and it's allowed because you're allowed to express your opinions. But if you come to an African setting, for example, or even in Japan, where they are very, they highlight a lot of respect. For them, if you're trying to engage in some, in quote, non-harmonious conversation, you will find yourself in the wrong books, and you look at the value for relationships. Okay, some cultures like the Latin America, Middle East, Africa, there's a lot of value for relationships. So from today, Mr. Michael becomes my brother. I meet him somewhere, but I remember when I was in Disney World, you can do something with somebody, and the next day it's as he doesn't even know you from anywhere. Something like that happened one of the days in the apartment we were living. So it's a different worldview and the way they respond to things. And role of formalities, also comes to bear risk tolerance. Now, when you look at the American setting, they are comfortable with risk taking. It's documented and known. With the Asians, the Middle East, they prefer to be cautious, long-term approach. And when you come to Africa, I don't know how maybe we will be extra risk because we look at the spiritual and all of that. I mean, somebody has got to see a prophet before he enters a business. So the dynamics are completely different, And then impact on business outcomes, you see that's another major area where there are misalignment in decision speed, which can lead to a lot of frustration. So, for example, U.S. firms see delays as not necessarily a big deal. Japanese firms will see delays as due diligence. So look at different definitions to perspective. One sees it as let's see it as a delay proper. Others so very very important. And so I think summarily that will be it for my little top up to what Mr. Austin has said. Thank you.
Thank you too. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So with Pastor Sinclair, in an era of globalization and digital work, what skills should emerging leaders focus on?
Okay, so I think we've mentioned a few of them already, but just to rehash, one major one is cultural intelligence, where you're now going to build the capacity to be able to relate to intentionally to different cultures. Number two, emotional intelligence, our favorite, plays out again, comes strongly. And maybe you need a higher version if there was emotional intelligence Pro Max, because now you are dealing with, if you are an iPhone user, you are dealing with a high end, different kinds of emotions. Um, there's a lot about digitalization. Now we're doing a lot of digital, so you need to be tech savvy. You can't go into a global multicultural setting and still be looking for A on your desktop, with all due respect. So you need to, because you need to engage. We said earlier that even in communication you have to use various methods. So if you are still doing the excuse me to say, the old methodology of non-digital, we will have some challenges. And then you need to be able to exploit the scheme of, or the skill of virtual team leadership, where you'll be doing a lot of engagements online, adaptability and agility, ability to pivot quickly during disruption. So you need to adjust. For example, COVID taught us a big lesson where people who were handling multicultural firms had to adjust because that was global. You need to be able to adjust. You need to build that capacity to be able to lead in a multicultural setting. You need to have a global mindset. You need to have a global mindset. There are people in Ghana who are still thinking very Ghanaian. You need to break that and think global. You need to have inclusive leadership. Now we have a lot of talk on diversity and inclusion. You need to be able to brace yourself for that because it is real and is strongly being pursued in different forms. So build knowledge in it and build a skill in that. Of course, we're talking about communication. So you need to enrich your communication skills. It has to be very strategic as well and intentional. Then you need to learn how to collaborate and network. It's not going to be an option now because you find yourself in that environment and it must work. There's no option, no excuse. So, and then lastly, I would say ethical leadership, ethical leadership. And now we're talking about sustainability as well. All the AIs, the data privacy, climate change. You need to get yourself acquainted with it. Because no more about your worldview. You now have to expand to the worldview of the many people you'll be leading. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So I'll ask Mr. Michael if you have additional something um, you want to tell us on, you want to share with us on the same, like in this era of globalization and digital work, what skills should emerging leaders focus on to be able to succeed? No. Please, I'm mute. I'm mute. No, no.
Okay, I said, like Christian already mentioned, the skills a young leader need in this era of globalization. Like Christian already mentioned, he mentioned cultural intelligence, he mentioned global mindset. Then I want to add something like digital literacy, tech savviness, because that's he already mentioned that in another top when he said adaptability. So that's the adaptability part, because the world is changing at a light speed. AI is become a thing. Ability, tech savviness, like he used the Samsung user, no, iPhone user versus a Samsung user. So you should, the person should come up to speed. A young leader should come up to speed with digital literacy, tech savviness, come up to speed with advancement of technology. And then he also mentioned emotional intelligence, which is very, very important. He mentioned adaptive and strategic thinking. So, which, I also talked about in my earlier point. So the next one will be collaboration and communication. You know, different, like what we are doing now, we are doing on a digital platform. So ability to adapt to different type of platform, ability to use different type of platform that that will be required, maybe like holding meetings, or like uh, different type of collaboration. Sorry about that. Like my son just walked into where I'm talking. So collaboration and communication. So ability to collaborate, ability to use all the new technologies that are coming to use, and then finally continuous learning and growth. No matter how much you've grown, you will always, the the life principle is, or the surviving life principle is that of continually, no matter how much you need to always continue to learn and also grow. So that would be the skill that a young leader would need in this era.
Sure. Continuous learning. Continuous learning. I agree with you perfectly. Thank you so much, Michael. Thank you. And then I'm still with you. So if you could give one piece of advice to young leaders aspiring to succeed in a multicultural world, apart from this one, what would it be?
Okay, I would say I would tell the young leader to approach it with humility. That's what I'm going to say. Humility is the key word. Most time people get to position of authority or position of leadership.
Mhm.
Uh, like I wouldn't say coincidence because there's no coincidence in life. I believe that everything that happened in life is preparation, meeting, opportunity. So when you're prepared and that opportunity presents itself, don't use the attitude of I know it all. Use the attitude of humility. The attitude of humility is like where you go ahead and then you try to you study. First of all, you have to know, like Christian mentioned, that you need to know your customer, know the people you have to deal with, and then by knowing the people you're dealing with, you can try to learn about them, learn about their culture, even saying certain words in those people language. Let's say if I'm going to be dealing with Ghanaians, there's nothing stopping me from learning the greetings like Akwaba, or like just saying something that is going to induce some type of humor.
Yeah.
So when you do that, it's going to lower that tone of tension and anxiety and make people more easy to communicate with you. So, like I said, humility. And then uh, a willingness to work with different people and just humbly learning to deal with these people and get their own perspective.
Great, 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 great. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Michael. So, Pastor Sinclair, um, if you could give one piece of advice to young people aspiring to succeed in a multicultural world, what would it be? Apart from what Mr. Mike has told us. So, what angle would you also come from? Hello, hello, Pastor Sinclair. Maybe his network.
No,
Hello.
I'm with you. Hello.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Sure.
Yeah. So I was just saying that I would highlight learning,
Mhm.
giving yourself to building capacity. So whether you already have the position or you are yet to have such an opportunity, I think Austin mentioned it that, so we must build capacity. The things we spoke about today are real. And if you don't acquaint yourself, that's why we call them at the point we have to treat skills. And skills come with building capacity. That'll be my emphasis. Subject yourself to it. Today we are blessed with several platforms like what we're doing now, where you can listen to enroll in courses. I know there are structured programs that are designated or designed to be able to build your capacity. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you too. So, Pastor Sinclair, how do you personally prepare yourself when entering a new cultural or business environment?
Okay. So a few tips. One would be do your homework. The homework one will be research into the country's customs. I've heard a lot about Dubai, about well, the Qatar, during the World Cup, they actually declared their stance, is that this one. So I know some companies who flew their staff had to, and some people went to work, during the World Cup. Some of them had to live in Dubai because they had to manage, so you can't fight the setting. So you need to build capacity in terms of knowledge on what happens there, learn greetings like Austin said, you are coming to Ghana. I think the trending word in Ghana is Obake, Obake, or Obake for work. And there's a big fight between Akwaba and Obake about it as well. So you need to learn it. Understand the industry, the context, you know, where you're getting yourself into, economic trends, competitors, regulations, very, very important. And then understand the communication styles. Okay, how do they engage? Like we said, we've just looked at even negotiation, decision making, how some are direct, some are indirect, some, non-verbal cues you build yourself, steady decision making and hierarchy. Some cultures is from top to down. Others is consensus driven. So they want a communal kind of decision making. In some settings, one man takes the decision, everybody runs with it. So you need to also build that capacity. And Austin spoke about humility, very, very important. Build cultural humility so that you can engage various traditions, food, local practice. Sometimes you have to eat something that on a regular you might not have to eat because it's part of breaking the ice, building the psychological, confidence of the team you're working with. Um, find cultural guides. In some areas you find people who can guide you, like a local, a mentor. Sometimes you get into a position, somebody likes you for a certain reason. Take advantage of it or ask, oh, so this thing, what do we do about this? How do we do about this? But some people just go in, if I'm doing my pastoral, they will say, go in their might and power. We come in the authority of the Holy Ghost. So we are possessing our possession. So they don't care about anybody at all. And then try to reflect on your own biases. When people give you feedback, try to reflect on it. Don't be too hard on yourself, playing the all perfect kind of personality. Prepare flexibility and patience. So try to be yielding, adaptability, right? And also flexibility. So don't be entrenched to maybe, oh, when I was in Ghana, this is how we do it. So it has to be done. It is a different environment.
Yeah.
Be willing to adjust, and things will move a bit slower, but be rest assured that um, as you focus on relationship building and pushing for outcome, and then finally set intentional goals. Okay, be very intentional. Oh, I want to achieve this within this period. And I mean, we've all said in corporate, we encourage that it should be realistic. So try to set goals that are realistic, they're intentional, and then balance your professional objective with a cultural respect and trust building. Try to create a balance. We have our strategic objectives, and some of them can sound non-cultural because it's technically business, 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 business. We are talking about KPIs, but we need to now balance it with, it's not just business. You might go into an environment, maybe a Japanese environment, you need to wear some, they will give you something to honor, accept it before now. Oh, let's go directly to the point. We are going to our business, so all of that. So I believe these, amongst many, will be of great help to anyone who wants to um, thrive or prepare him or herself for a multicultural business environment. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Pastor Sinclair. Thank you so much. So, Mr. Michael, I don't know if you have something else to add to this perspective, like how you personally prepare yourself when entering a new cultural or business environment. Mhm.
Yeah, so Christian said it all, but yeah, again, the key word is preparation, preparation, preparation. There's a common word we normally say that he who failed to plan has planned to fail. So meaning that you need to do your groundwork. We can take a cue from the car companies or the car industry. So there are two major incidents that happen in a car. There are multiple of them, but two of them are like very major incident that happen with cars. So there's a car brand called Chevrolet Nova. When Chevrolet Nova was launched, Chevrolet is an American car company, and when they launch a car which has the brand name is Nova, so uh, normally when you launch a car, you ship all the car across the world, and then you market the car. They notice that in some Latin American country, this car doesn't do well. And then there's another car called Mazda La Puta. So these two cars, which is a Japanese car, so telling you that global environment is like it can be a steep slope. So preparation is very, very important. So for these two cars, the consequences or the result was very similar because Mazda Laputa, that Laputa is a very bad word in Spanish, like a curse word. That a lot of people start making mockery of the car, and from the sales statistics, the Mazda noticed that that car did not do well in Latin America and for Nova is like something that means not working. So like you build a car and based on the way you name it in another language, that word means something bad, like, oh, it doesn't work. So now people start making mockery and making joke of the car. Oh, if it doesn't work, why do you want to sell it to us? So the common denominator is that they were not able to sell these cars in this region. So if they had done their groundwork, if they had like even get somebody like more reason why in an interconnected world, you actually need people from everywhere to successfully do business or do whatever anything that you are interested in doing. So if they had done their proper preparation, they would have known that Nova is not a good word. And for Mazda, they would have also known that the Mazda Laputa was not a good word in Spanish, but in their own environment, that's probably something beautiful. Like you could say a word in your language and it could mean something very good. But to me, in my own language, that is going to be like a curse word or something very, very offensive. So preparation, preparation, preparation. That's what is required.
Thank you so much. Wow. In fact, personally, I've learned a lot this evening. In fact, I don't know. I wish we had more time so that we learn more. But all too soon, our 1 hour is up. And on behalf of our viewers and Global Leadership Group, I want to say a very big, big thank you to our two wonderful resource persons. But we've had powerful insights today about adaptability, inclusion, cultural intelligence, and also um, you've told us some of your very rich experience that will back all that. If I've jotted so many things down: active listening, inclusive interaction, trust, training. I've listed a whole lot that you talked about. Thank you so much. And God bless you for taking time out of your busy schedules to continue to build capacity of our leaders. God bless you. Thank you so much. Thank you. So, to our viewers, until next month, same time, we hope that you play this video and listen several times, and actually take notes from it. This will help you build your capacities to be able to perform on your job and all that. Thank you so much, and goodbye.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.
Global Leadership Group presents
Leadership Summit 2026.
Theme: Ethical Leadership for Sustainable Economic Growth.
Leadership Masterclass coming up.